the West do today. That 1000 years when the Muslims were glorious, when the Muslims were ruling the world, they call it a dark age. And they will never relate themselves with those 1000 years. They directly crossing and jumping that 1000 years and they try to relate themselves with the Greek civilization. You tell me each and every science existing in this world that is from evolution. Everything comes from evolution. It is not like that there was some civilization or a model existing in a Greek civilization and then the people were sleeping and suddenly after 1000 years somebody woke up in West and he said, now I got it, something came in my mind. He come up with and he write it quickly. It's not like that. Everything is evolution. It has to be linked with the immediate previous civilization. And they disconnect them with the 1000 of Muslims, 1000 years of Muslim civilization. And we are always happy to connect ourselves with West. And we are not able to connect ourselves with our own glorious origins, with our own civilizations, with our own models, with our own scientists, with our own philosophers. Today, that is the need of the time. If we become a good scientist, we are adding in one more number into the list of the Western scientists. If we cannot link ourselves with our own origin, if anybody cannot call it a good Muslim scientist and just a scientist, then no benefit to Ummah. If we want to give any benefit to Ummah, you become a philosopher, you become a political scientist, you become a lawyer, you become a doctor, you become a scientist. Whatever you become, your identity should be a good Muslim scientist, a good Muslim political analyst, a good Muslim philosopher, a good Muslim politician. Whatever is there, a good Muslim engineer, a good Muslim doctor or whatever, wherever you work, doesn't matter. But your identity has to be with you. And you are able to connect yourself with your own origin. That is the need of the day. Unfortunately, there was the tragedy that everything was destroyed. But it's not the end of the world. We have to reconnect ourselves. We have to draw back those links. We have to find those links. We have to work back on these things. We still got if the models were destroyed, doesn't matter. We still have those set of principles provided by Quran and Sunnah. If the models of political systems were destroyed, if the philosophy written in the books were destroyed, so it doesn't matter. We still have the principles provided by Quran and Sunnah in our hands. We come up with the new models for Muslims. We come up with the new models for our countries. If the models of economics were destroyed, so it doesn't matter. We have the provided principles of Quran and Sunnah. We can come up with the better models in today's world. For economics, for social justice, whatever is there. We can always come up with the good models. But for that, every individual has to realize about his duties. What he has to do, what responsibility he bears on his shoulder. When we see the whole civilization, the whole ummah is in crisis, so then the duty and responsibility doesn't lie on only one or a leader's shoulder. It lies on each and every unit of the society. Today, if we could come up with hundreds of scientists in Muslims, that we call it achievement. If today we can come up with the hundreds and thousands of good Muslim doctors today, wherever society, even in Britain, that you call achievement. It is not about being radical. It's not about being active. It's not about blaming others. We have to blame ourselves. We are not able to do anything. We are not able to give any benefit to our own structure, to our own body, or to our own religion. Whenever you want to change, you have to start that change from your own house. You cannot just preach. Then there is no impact in your impression and impact in your preaching when you doesn't do anything which you say. So for that, we have to start it from our house. That philosophy we have to adopt. And for that, each and every individual living in this society has to link him or herself with education. Learn more and more. Acquire more degrees. Get on the top of each and every field where people can recognize you and call you, he is the Muslim scientist, he is the Muslim philosopher, he is the Muslim politician, he is the Muslim analyst or whatever is there. You can be identified. Today the Muslims are identified as a robber, as a terrorist, as a criminal. If we see to the prisons, we find more Muslims in number than other communities. That's where we are making our own identities. This is not what Aqā alayhi salatu wasalam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam wanted. This is not what the Muslim civilization was. This is not what the Allah Almighty wanted from the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The reason of discussing today the Islamic political system is to remind us what we were and what we are today. When we talk about the value of democracy, we hardly find any democratic value in today's Muslim world. We are more than 52, 53 countries, but we hardly find any democratic country there. Even those countries which call themselves the democratic, they are not a proper democratic. And the democracy which actually Islam is giving, so those Muslim countries are supposed to be more democratic than others. Because they are actually, in some terms, they are founder of these democratic values. They are givers of these democratic values to humanity. But we are, other people have taken these values from us. And we have no link with it. And we doesn't care. We are so much happy in our own lives, in our entertainments, in our daily comforts, in our luxuries. And we have no link. We have detached ourselves from the Islamic brotherhood. It's not the Egypt one. We have detached ourselves from the concept of brotherhood. Whatever is happening in any country, we don't really care. But we are interested in our specific life. And we want to ease and to give a comfort to our life. Even after the high school, we just raise our hands, no more studies. Now today, whatever the crisis Muslims are facing, it's not just about you now. It's about your community. It's about your whole society. Now you owe something back to them. It's not just about what you want. It's about what your community needs today, what your whole society needs today, what your country needs today, what your religion needs today. We have to be there with it. We have to be there for them, for our religion, for our community, for our countries today. This is the time. The country, the religion, they need each and everybody's help today. It's not being just raising the slogans and giving the articles, writing the articles and going to them. We have to do something practical. And that's what? Learn more and more. Acquire more knowledge and get on the top. And then identify yourself as a good Muslim with the good characteristics in your personality. That is the responsibility of each and every individual in today's Muslim world. We have to come out from our own daily life circles and we have to see the big picture, what is going on with the Muslims. The reaction is not terrorism. The reaction is develop yourself. Learn more, acquire more. That is the reaction. But what we do, we react in a different way. What happened when United States bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Everything was destroyed. What they did? They were reactive. They came back to fight them. They started killing Americans. No. If any would have thought of it, that was nonsense. What they did, they went into isolation, they developed themselves. Now we see what Japan is today. They used that anger and reaction in developing themselves and not fighting and becoming terrorists. We have to use our reaction for our own personal developments.